Good morning. I'm Patrick Brady, host of Global Flows, and we're going to look at some really important article today, maybe one, maybe two. Um, at Global Flows, we talk about the trends and the flow of ideas globally, whether increasing globalization, decreasing globalization, the patterns and flows of ideas, money, goods, and cultures. Today, we are going to look at an article, the front page of the Financial Times. Asia faces one of the worst economic outlooks in half a century, World Bank warns. So, going into this, I just want to full disclosure. Um, I do think that journalists often get these things wrong. So, I'm not endorsing this article or saying that it's right, but I'm just going to point out some of the highlights from this and um, discuss it with y'all. Sluggish post pandemic recovery, China's property crisis, and US trade policies expected to hinder growth next year. Okay. Well, the major bullet points of this article are the World Bank has cut its forecast for China's growth in 2024 to 4.4, and that's a reduction from 4.6. So we've seen, and we've seen several articles, and we've heard the buzz about China having a lot of difficulty right now, especially because of real estate values and post-pandemic, coming out of the pandemic or the coronavirus episode. And for 3 years, they shut things down. So coming out of that and encouraging consumer behaviors, especially when in a deflationary environment, has proven not to be easy. It also downgraded its 2024 GDP growth forecast for developing economies in East Asia. So we see that it's not only China, but it's also East Asia. Here is the Asia Pac growth curve, and you can see it's up and down, swinging. 1962 way down, and then down here in 97, the what do they call the Asian tiger um, bust, and then wow, this is where we're at right now. GDP growth all the way down to four. I mean, when I lived in China, 8%, 10%, 12% was the norm year after year, and now we're down to well 4.4%. A little bit extra spike here. This is forecasted. This is 2021. This is 2020 during the pandemic, 2021, and we're having a little dip there. This chart shows the forecasted GDP growth. So this is showing China, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, and from October to April, you see there's not a whole lot of change. Okay. Third point, goods exports are down more than 20% in Indonesia and Malaysia, more than 10% in China and Vietnam. This is all pointing towards the deglobalization that we continue to talk about. And we have, support with a lot of journalists and really great people I follow on YouTube that you can find their clips on the Global Flows website. The introduction of the IRA and CHIPS law in 2022, policies designed to boost U.S. manufacturing and cut American dependence on China, has hit Southeast Asian countries. Their exports of affected products to the U.S. have fallen. Okay, that was a major policy change with the CHIPS Act. By comparison, U.S. trade with countries including Canada and Mexico, which unlike China and Southeast Asia are exempt from the local content requirements attached to U.S. subsidies, has not declined. So we will see more and more trade and growth between U.S., Canada, and Mexico. And so we follow people like Peter Zehan, who say that the regions bordering Mexico should thrive in the coming decades, including, I think he's very high on Houston, and then the place where I live, Austin, Texas, and then Dallas, and probably along New Mexico, Southern California, Arizona. So we'll see how things play out. But I think that that forecast is coming to roost. Uh, okay, that's this article. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Going to give credit to, there we go, Edward White in Seoul and Mercedes Israel in Singapore. Okay, thank you. Signing off.